Okay, so we're back in chapter 4. In your books, this would be on pages 137, 138, 139. Ja, Seite 137, 138, 139. And we're going to start actually with a little PowerPoint from webgerman.com. So if you want to find this, you would go to webgerman.com, click on PowerPoint presentations, and then find the one on the imperative, because that's what we're doing today. Imperatives, okay? So we'll start with very basic. What is the imperative? The imperative is the command form of the verb. Go, do this, do that. However, be careful, it's not only used to give commands. The imperative is used to give commands, but also directions. For example, when you look at a recipe. When you look at a recipe, the people who wrote the recipe are giving you directions on how to cook or bake something. And they use the imperative. Bake at 350 degrees. It's not a command, do this. But, you know, they're giving you directions. Also, when you tell somebody where to go, turn right, turn left, that's the imperative. It can also just be a recommendation, right? Go to that store, it's the best. It doesn't have to be a command necessarily. So it's the command form, but remember it's used for many other purposes, not only giving commands. And, well, see in English, go, and in German, geh. Pretty easy, no? It's the only time that you will see the verb without a subject. In English and in German. In English, you know, you say go, not you go. And in German, geh. And it's the only time that will happen in both English and German. The verb without a subject. Steh auf. Ja? Was bedeutet das? Steh auf. Get up. No? Wach auf. Wake up. Steh auf. So this is one of the verbs we just recently learned with the separable prefix. Aufstehen. Steh auf. Get up. Yeah? Und, well, stand up. Get up. It's like a Bob Marley song. Steh auf. Doesn't sound as good in German, but okay. Yeah, so of course you can use these verbs too with the separable prefixes. Yeah, ruf mich an, call me, ruf mich an. Of course the prefix is separated. You don't have another verb that pushes the whole thing to the end. So ruf mich an, steh auf, yeah. Prefix is separate from the verb. Don't forget, vergiss nicht. Don't forget. Und was sagt der Mann? Hören Sie gut zu. Hören Sie gut zu. Well, here we do have the subject, Sie. We're being formal, and when we're formal, we do actually use the subject. Hören Sie gut zu. So, informal, hör gut zu. Hör gut zu. Or hört gut zu. But formal, hören Sie gut zu. So, as you can already tell, hopefully, in German we have more than one form of the imperative. In English, you have only one. I wonder if you can figure it out. I'll give you a second, 10 seconds to think. Why is there only one form of the imperative in English and 3 in German? I'll give you a hint. When you use the imperative, go, come over here, leave me alone, do your homework. Even though you don't use the subject, implied is you. I'm talking to you. You do this, right? So why do we have only one form in English and 3 forms of the imperative in German? I hope you got to it. It's because in English you have one form of you, and in German we have 3 forms of you. We have du, informal singular. We have ihr, informal plural, and Sie, the formal one. Hören Sie gut zu. So if I'm saying the same thing to one person only and informal, it would be hör. Hör gut zu. Listen up, yeah? If I'm talking to the whole class, informal, but to many people, hört gut zu. Hört gut zu. That's what I would tell my students probably. And if I'm being formal, hören Sie gut zu. 3 forms of the imperative. Oop, what does he say? Marsch, yeah? Okay. Marsch und halt. And, well, there's 3 forms like we just said. And there's also a wir imperative. The book does not cover this, so don't worry about it. The wir imperative is the equivalent of your let's do this, let's do that. Gehen wir ins Kino, let's go to the movies. But don't worry, gehen wir tanzen, let's go dancing. Don't worry about it, the book does not cover it, and for now, I just want you to be aware that we don't say lass uns tanzen. That is the equivalent of 1802 speech in German, lass uns tanzen. It's like you came out of the, Schiller's storybook, or it doesn't sound right. You have to actually use the wir imperative, gehen wir tanzen. But do not worry about it too much. Let's go back to the du imperative. You're talking to one person, informal, and if the verb has a stem vowel change from A to I, geben, du gibst, another one is essen, du isst, all of those verbs, remember, from back in chapter 3? Okay, if it has one of those vowel changes that goes from A to I, then you have to use that vowel change for the du imperative. Gib mir, na? Give me your homework. Gib mir deine Hausaufgabe, ja? Gib uns unser Brot. Where does this come from? Gib uns unser tägliches Brot. Think about it. Everybody should know that, even if you're not Catholic or Christian or whatnot, then you still might know where this is from. Gib uns unser tägliches Brot. Give us our, missing here is daily bread, comes from the Bible, right? Yeah? Die Bibel. Gib uns unser tägliches Brot. It's a command. See, it's rude actually. We're giving commands to God. How rude. Well, or directions. See, we're giving him directions. Gib uns unser Brot, yeah? Nehmen is another one of those verbs. Essen, nehmen, geben. There were many we studied. Nehmen changes the vowel. Ich nehme, du nimmst. So, nimm ein Stück Kuchen. Take another piece of cake. Ja? Nimm noch ein Stück Kuchen. Nimm doch ein bisschen Käse. Take a little bit of cheese. Ja? Nimm doch ein bisschen Käse. Essen und du isst. Another one of those verbs. Iss doch etwas. Eat something. Ja? Iss doch etwas. Oh, it's the one they used. Okay? Oder isst nicht so viel. Don't eat so much. Yeah? Okay. But of course, these vowels do not change in the plural. Just like they don't when you use the verb regularly. Ich esse, du isst, aber wir essen. Ihr esst. Yeah? So there we don't change the vowel. Kinder, nehmt ein Stück Kuchen. Stück should have an umlaut here. Stück, yeah? Nehmt ein Stück Kuchen, esst schnell und geht dann ins Bett. See, we're giving 3 commands. Nehmt ein Stück Kuchen, esst schnell und geht dann ins Bett. What am I telling the kids? Take a piece of cake, eat it fast, and go to bed. Right after a bunch of sugar. That's the best thing to do. Sugar them up and send them to bed. Nehmt ein Stück Kuchen, esst schnell und geht dann ins Bett. Yeah? 3 commands, and here, because it's plural, the vowels do not change. What if I'm talking to one child? I have only one child, then I would say nimm. Nimm ein Stück Kuchen, iss schnell und geh ins Bett. If I have only one kid, the vowel here would change, but no T ending. Nimm ein Stück Kuchen, iss schnell und geh ins Bett. Okay? Good. And the verb to be is always, always different. We know that. The verb to be is always irregular. So instead of what we have studied, ich bin, du bist, ist, wir sind, ihr seid. Seid is the one that's regular. Ihr seid is the plural form of to be. So seid ruhig, be quiet. That's actually regular. But instead of saying ist or bist brav, it's sei brav, mein kleines Kind. And seien Sie geduldig. Not sind Sie, seien Sie geduldig, Herr Professor, ja? Seid ruhig, Kinder. That's actually as expected, okay? Good. So you have to just memorize the forms of the verb to be. Yeah? Sei ruhig. Be quiet. If I'm talking to one kid only, sei ruhig. Seien Sie ruhig. Be quiet, please. Formal. Und seid ruhig, Kinder. Be quiet, but to more than one kid, okay? Das Ende. Danke. Und Ryan macht das Licht jetzt an. Danke. Und wir machen weiter. We'll continue. Let's see if you can already make some examples. So we want to give commands or directions. We want to tell somebody what to do. We're talking to one person only. For example, I'm talking to one child. I'm a mom, I have one child, and I'm going to tell my one child, pick up your room, clean up your room. How would you say that? Think about it. Clean up your room. Räum dein Zimmer auf. Yeah? What if you have more than one child? You have 2, 3 kids. Then it's räumt. Now be careful. It's not dein. You have to change that too. Y'all's, yeah? Räumt euer Zimmer auf. Yeah? And then I'm being formal. I am telling, I don't know, my tenants to clean up, or I'm telling my employees to clean up their offices, whatever. Räumen Sie, yeah? Räumen Sie. And then we have to change that too, of course, Ihr Zimmer auf, yeah? Good? So again, I have one child who can already drive, has a driver's license. That's actually true. I have 3 kids, but only one drives. And I'm telling her, drive slowly. How would I say that? Fahr bitte langsam. Yeah? Fahren is one of those verbs with stem vowel changes. Remember, ich fahre, du fährst. But it's not from A to E. If you remember the PowerPoint presentation we just watched, it said only the verbs that went from A to E, like geben, gibst, nehmen, nimmst, still do that for the imperative. The other ones that go from A to E do not do that. So even though normally you would say, du fährst langsam, you're driving slowly, du fährst langsam, we don't change that vowel, we don't add the umlaut for the imperative, yeah? Fahr bitte langsam. Okay, you have more than one kid, fahrt bitte langsam, yeah? And you're talking to your crazy New York City cab driver, fahren Sie bitte langsam, yeah? Formal. Fahren Sie bitte langsam. Yeah? Okay, good. So we'll practice together, of course, in class and through homework and lab work. Okay? Tschüss.